How to learn from failure. Build a learning culture. Embrace your failure, whether it is one failure or numerous failures, in light of the fact that with the correct mentality, you are guaranteed a lifetime of success. Nobody can carry on with their life without failure. Only leaders can create and reinforce a culture that counteracts the blame game and make people feel both comfortable with and responsible for surfacing and learning from failures. They should insist that their organizations develop a clear understanding of what happened, not of who did it when things go wrong. This requires consistently reporting failures, small and large, systematically analyzing them, and proactively searching for opportunities to experiment. For example, Walt Disney was fired because he lacked imagination and had no good ideas. Ironically, he is the man responsible for an empire of imaginative movies and play for children all over the world. And yet he lost his job due to a lack of imagination. The lesson here is to keep moving toward that end goal, even when other people fail to see the same vision. Hi, my name is Victoria Bossa, and welcome to Victoria Bossa's How To, where I give you the basic skills to excel as a PR professional. Please subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon to be notified when I upload a video. Today, I'm going to give you tips on how to learn from failure. Remain humble. When you're doing well in life, it seems like nothing can stop you. There are no words that can appropriately nail down feeling like you are large and in charge. Nonetheless, when failure hits, it hurts. In some cases, it hurts so terrible that you think you will never be successful again. Remaining humble helps check the emotional sentiment of fortune and failure. While you're flying high on the feeling of success, always remember that you are human and treat everybody with a similar humility and respect that you expect. Consequently, when you are humble, you will be intellectually ready for failure when it comes your direction. It will likewise guarantee that you are not arrogant, plus people who are close to you will help lift you up when things are not going your way. Promote experimentation. The third basic activity for successful learning is deliberately delivering failures in the right places at the right times through orderly experimentation. Analysts in fundamental science realize that despite the fact that the trials they conduct will so often bring about a terrific achievement, a large percentage of them, 70% or higher in certain fields, fail. How do these individuals get up in the morning? To begin with, they realize that failure isn't optional in their work. It's essential for being at the main edge of logical revelation. Second, far more than the majority of us, they comprehend that each failure passes on significant data and they are anxious to get it before the competition does. The blame game. Failure and fault are virtually inseparable in many families, organizations, and societies. Every child learns at some point that admitting failure seems taking the blame. That is why so few organizations have shifted to a culture of psychological safety in which the rewards of learning from failure can be fully realized. If people are not blamed for failures, What will ensure that they try as hard as possible to do their best work? This worry depends on a false polarity. In reality, a culture that makes itself to concede and give an account of failure can, and in some authoritative settings, must exist together with exclusive requirements for performance. To understand why, look at reasons why people fail, which lists causes ranging from deliberate deviation to thoughtful experimentation. Detect failure. Spotting big, painful, expensive failure is easy, but in many organizations, any failure that can be hidden is hidden as long as it's unlikely to cause immediate or obvious harm. The goal should be to surface it early before it has mushroomed into a disaster. Failure then becomes a means to an end rather than an end itself. In other words, failure is a part of the journey towards success. Everyone fails at one time or another. The courage part comes in continuing to try. One challenge is to teach people in an organization when to declare defeat in an experimental course of action. The human tendency to hope for the best and try to avoid failure at all costs gets in the way, and organizational hierarchies make it worse. As a result, failing projects are often kept going much longer than is scientifically rational or economically prudent. For example, intuition may tell engineers or scientists that a project has fatal flaws, but the formal decision to call it a failure may be delayed for months. Analyze failure. Once a failure has been detected, it's essential to go beyond the obvious and superficial reasons for it to understand the root causes. This requires the discipline, better yet the enthusiasm, to use sophisticated analysis to ensure that the right lessons are learned and the right remedies are employed. The goal of leaders is to see that their organizations don't just move on after a failure, but stop to dig in and discover the wisdom contained in it. Why is failure analysis often shortchanged? Because examining our failures in depth is emotionally unpleasant and can chip away at our self-esteem. Left to our own devices, most of us will speed through or avoid failure analysis altogether. Another reason is that analyzing organizational failures requires inquiry and openness, patience, and a tolerance of casual ambiguity. Yet managers typically admire and are rewarded for decisiveness, efficiency, and action, not thoughtful reflection. That is why the right culture is so important, and that is analyzing failure. Have you got any tips, tricks, or strategies that you would like to share with the channel? Get them in the comments below. And if you like what you've seen, please go ahead and subscribe. But until next time, I'll see you then. I'm Victoria Bossa.